What's up guys, it's Karmavore here. We're going to be looking at my PwrMelee battle group today. So we'll get right into the battle list. So we have two Arrow Singers. I run them with Horn of Cthir and Burn. Now Horn of Cthir is pretty essential for the battle group. You know, everything's centered around having powerful melee units. So the +4 damage on melee attacks is really huge, and they do stack. So if you have two of them out plus, Fjorn, that could be up to 12 damage per melee attack extra. So, it gets pretty absurd. Next we have a Aurora Lancer. A lot of the BG's focus is obviously on melee champions themselves, but they all have pseudo range. So you want to have units that are capable of handling themselves in a 1v1 situation, but also provide ranged utility. So he has, I run him with Majestic and Regen. So he's obviously really good in a 1v1 situation. He has the ability to stick into melee situations and reduce their attack by 50% and -1 speed. And then he has the ability to kind of hinder range champions with Blinded. And then he also has the Light Seeker ability, so he can get in close and take advantage of Majestic. Next we have the Civilized Wilderkin. She's a really good melee champion with Ren 3 and Evasive 2. She also has Blitz, and at 7 speed, you kind of take full advantage of that. And a single melee attack can do quite a bit with everything that I've mentioned so far. With the Horn of Cthirs, the Blitz, things like that. She's also a really good target for Balancing Act, just because she already does have... or not Balancing Act, sorry, Elite Blade, but I don't run into this battle group. It's a different thing. So we have Condor Fury next. I run her with Loyalty and Lead the Charge. She's just a really good melee unit, and again, she has 1 to 2 range, so she can kind of be a pseudo-range champion. We have Dugon. He's a stacking monster, and he has the Triumphant Aura, which is always a handy ability to have. 12 damage AoE, and Distract and Frightened for 2 turns. So it's, stall plus, decent damage and sacking potential. We have an Elven Page, just for mid-game heals. This battle group doesn't have a lot of dedicated healing, so it's important to have something like this in there. We have Strategist. He's an auto-include in every battle group, I would assume, in Cthir Forest. He does a lot with swap and pull, and provides damage modifications. We have Experimental War Spirit, another pseudo-range champion, can take advantage of Horn of Cthir, and is a counter-all rune. We have the Garb Kodiak, really strong melee unit with 13 damage and 7 speed, decent tankiness with 2 defense, 54 HP, and I run him with Battle Harden 3. So when he comes into play, all my champions gain +8 max HP and +1 damage for 8 turns. So he's a nice unit, and I take Stun as the first upgrade versus taking Pummel. Pummel would be good, I guess, because it works well with Horn of Cthir, but I prefer Stun just because it's added utility, and he also has Lead the Charge, so there's 2 forms of Lead the Charge in the battle group, which is good. And then we have a Ranger Elite, really good unit with 8 speed and a double attack. Well, always can threaten double attacks with the 8 speed that she has, and Search Enemy, and another pseudo ranged attack with Arrow Shot and Initiative. We have Tog and Kayla, or the Corgi Ranger, 2 ranged attacks and a really good melee unit. Also has Battle Leader, so we're going to be looking to get kills with her. We have a Tree Spider. This is kind of like a comfort pick for me. I really enjoy the Tree Spider. It's been one of my favorite runes in Cthir for a long time. It does apply a lot, and I run it with Entangle and Poison Sting. Now you could probably take Widowmaker instead, just because it is a free attack, but I prefer, again, having 2 ranged attacks. It also has Hunter Flying. It does look pretty weak in terms of stats, but for every font you gain, he gains +1 defense, +1 damage, and +1 speed. So you can get, pretty good stats eventually, and he's only 71 Nora. We have Warcaller Fjorn. He's just a really powerful melee unit with charge and heavy charger. Also has Battle Leader and Horde of Cthir, which is essential. And then we have a wild elf. Now he's kind of like a flex pick, and you could probably run something else, but he gets really strong. He has a deep wounds upgrade and multi-attack. So for 4 or 6 AP, you can dish out, you know, what is it, 18, 30 damage plus rend, and then if you have Horn of Kathir, it's even more. And he has hidden vegetation, so he can be, you know, on some maps really useful. And then we have a Wilderkin, so we run all 3 of the Wilderkins. I run him with Berserker attack and Rend 2. For a 72 or a 77 Nora build, he has 12 damage, 8 speed, 1 defense, and 50 HP. And then he has Hostile and Resolute. So he can become really powerful, and he's good in melee situations because Resolute removes all damage from attacks at range 1 against this unit, and it's hidden until triggered, so you can kind of bait it out. And for the spell set, we have Balancing Act. Since we have a lot of melee units for, you know, easily susceptible to range, so it's good to have something like that in there. And then we have Blinding Flash, which is a nice debuff spell and works in conjunction with Aurora Lancer if you don't have your Aurora Lance up. We have Carnivorous Vines for more lockdown and free disengage whenever we need it. We have Devolve for more lockdown, and it's just a really good, useful spell. We have Grimlock's Bane for finishing. We have a Naturalize for other counters. And we have a Thorn Collection for AoE finish. We have Catharsis Bloom for mid-game healing, since we don't have any dedicated healing in the battle group. We always need this. Cleansing Emerald for those sticky situations. Banner. We have Burning Oak Seed for alternate damage. There's a lot of physical damage in this battle group, so it's good to have. Centaur Banner is essential in every Kathir Force battle group. Horn of Order is pretty essential as well, just because you're looking to power turn constantly with your heavy melee damage, and it works really well, you know, on units like Strategist or Page, or, you know, something that doesn't really use too much AP or doesn't provide a lot of additional damage. Or Arrow Singers, you know, Arrow Singers are good too. And it's used best against or on like Wild Elf or Fjorn, or like something that's going to do a lot of damage with just a couple of attacks. And then we have a Rejuvenation Ring just to keep whatever we want alive. It works really well on things like Aurora Lancer or you know, Fjorn or Tog and Kayla or Kaya. But yeah, since we've got the BG list all set up, we'll get into a game with the PwrMelee now. So we have a ton of people on, which is nice to see. I think that's over like 10 games right now, 20 people playing. It's good to see. You know, there was a day where there was, you know, over 40 games going at once. Hundreds of people online at any given time, but that day has kind of came and went. Hopefully Pox can get back there, but with the current state of affairs, I don't see too much happening, which is sad. This isn't like yesterday where we're waiting an eternity for a game. I made this battle group a while ago, before I took my long hiatus, and it was pretty strong, really fun to play, just because you're hitting for a lot of damage. And you have 3 sources of Horn of Order, or Horn of Kathir, so you know you're always dishing out crazy amounts of damage, as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Can talk about some honorable mentions in terms of other powerful melee units. You could probably get away with running an Ancestral Avenger because he has 1 to 2 range, and he's just a fucking monster. Arctic Guru would be another one, or Garu, sorry, not Guru. Arctic Garu would be another one. He has Charge and Hostile, which are pretty good. Generally, like anything with like charge or high speed or anything like that multi-attack, you know, was good in a battle group like this. Take full advantage of it. Elder Garu would be another one too. His pummel and decent stats just across the board. 15 damage, 7 speed. Really tanky. So we're still waiting for the game, which is unfortunate. Hopefully we're not waiting too much longer. Alright, so waiting for the server and then we'll get right into the game. Oh, of course. Ah, perfect. We are versus TinyDragon. He's playing Under Depths. So this should be an interesting game. Go ahead and get the Wilderkin out, just because he's probably the best deploy right now for this bomb battle. But this should be an interesting match versus the man, the myth, the legend himself. Probably gonna get our booty holes stomped in, but you know, we'll try our fucking best. There's a shoal demon. Probably get out our Tog and Kea here. So we'll be looking to use Blinding Flash on the shoal demon. So we'll like proc Horrific Aura and then just drop Blinding Flash. Because like I'll probably use Resolute and he'll go in for a melee attack and then he'll pop Horrific Aura just to counter it, so playing against TinyDragon's always, you know, a nice challenge. He's the best player in the game, so he always pushes you to your limits and makes you think way more than a standard player. Yeah, I think he's always like 10 steps ahead of you. Like, I'm pretty sure he's like already planning on ending the game, and he hasn't even deployed a second champion. As a fucking robot, human calculator. You rarely see TinyDragon screw up a turn. I wonder why it's taking so long. Because, you know, he does have a child, so you're doing something with his kid. And he's back. So we can't deploy, we'll just do a quick end. So we could almost assume that he won't use Horrific Aura, because it's only... So he didn't use Horrific Aura, so we can pop our Resolute. So the following turn is Horrific Aura. We'll get out a Ranger Elite. Trigger dodge right now. Still doesn't remove the Resolute, Tiny. So, you know, talking about how he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, there is a big mistake right there. So we'll leave Ranger Elite. Actually, we'll put him in the font. Why not? We can't use or deploy and get a blending flash out, so we'll pop our banner up top. Move the Ranger down. We'll just make sure he used Terrific Aura. Obviously he would. We'll use Blinding Flash. And we'll move 4 spaces back. So that was a pretty big mistake on Tiny's behalf. I mean, he was assuming that it would remove the Resolute. Just having Void Shield is kind of a pain in the ass, and I don't have my equip drawn yet. But I can always Arrow Shot. Oh, I do have my pretty sure that's not a kill though, only 14, 18, 32. Might be able to kill it. So good my math is. And we'll deploy Gar Kodiak. And then we will get the Burning Oak Seed on him. Just because he does have the vulnerability fire. We'll pop Hostile. We'll attack once with Ranger Elite. And then with Wilderkin. And that is a kill, my friends. And we can Berserk attack. Get the kill. Click the Nora Globe. That was a really strong turn for us. We get our Defender top on here. So we use under movement. So we more or less ensured the mid font here. You won't be able to bring the Shoal Demon in without risking, you know, taking an attack. I do have Cleanse for the Invoke Volseer Crush. We're sitting in a pretty good spot right now. Next turn we can move into range with Tog. We'll get an Arrow Singer out. We might want to take advantage. I think it's Warlord, wow. It's really strong. So I have an option of deploying. Probably get actually the War Caller out here. I'll be able to disengage and attack once. But I'll go in, I'll pop Resolute, and I'll deploy Fjorn, and then use Horn of Cthir. We'll drop an Arrow Shot on the Shoal Demon, and we will attack with the Wilderkin. We'll attack with Portage Ranger. Hopefully we can draw Economic Bane. Just because it does have resist physical 2 now. Everything is shrunken. That means he can't disengage and attack. Still has the Resolute or Bestial Fury up, so this is 2 mistakes by TinyDragon. Bestial Fury is Fury, sorry, is doing work against TinyDragon. Let's put the bodyguard. We can go ahead and drop another Horn of Cthir. I'm just wondering if we can charge from here. We can stick Ranger Elite in the font. It's not going to be a kill. Oh, it is a kill. Okay, so that's huge. Wilderkin is most likely dead. Next turn, Chosen is dead. But we have capped this side pawn here. Orgy Ranger's going to do just fine up top. Has to use a spell to kill, or Tremor. That works as well. I get both of these globes next turn. Oh, no. Go get one of them. If I can get my inhibit power, I can drop the bodyguard. They just get both globes. But I get the font, unless he plays a relic. Sacrifices the head of Asarius. So he's given me the font. Haven't drawn my inhibit power. I think it would be best to get a page out. Or a tree spider just because of the habitation. It'll be fairly tanky. Yeah, 10 speed, 14 damage. We'll kind of just play back now. We'll attack the Shoal Demon. Oh shit, I could have killed it. I didn't know it got rid of the Tremor got rid of the bodyguard. Fuck. If Tiny Head didn't make those mistakes, this is a different game, but unfortunately for him he did. That tree spider is just pretty monstrous. Yeah, the lead the charge in Horn of Cthir is like, you know, the main function of this battle group and why it works so well. It's just those surprise +4 damage turns. Catches people off guard quite often. So he's probably gonna have to retreat the Shoal Demon on Fjorn after getting off an attack. Or Horrific Aura might be back up. If it is, I'll just Transfigure and kill it. Because I lose nothing by Transfiguring right now. If I can get inhibit power, that would be ideal, because then I can kill. Yeah, oh shit. There's a price of victory. So I need a spell. No, I can still Transfigure. My Garo Kodiak lives. Well, I'll deploy another page since I took some damage that turn. I transfigure. Kill the Shell Demon, and that's GG. GG, well played. It's a good game against Tiny, just two huge mistakes cost him the game.